Hello, Year 4. This is a computing vocabulary video. So when you're doing your computing lessons in school for the next 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, these are going to be words that you're going to be hearing the teachers use. These are going to be words that hopefully you're going to be using as well within the lessons. And this video is basically just a quick vocab video, just explaining what the vocabulary is that we're going to be using and the definitions. And I've tried to get pictures to match up with them as well to help you understand them a little bit more. So without further ado, we're going to, or I'm going to share my screen and let's get going. So here we go. Computing vocabulary. So the first word is input. Input. Now, input are devices that we use in computing that send messages to the computer. For example, our keyboard, or a scanner, or a camera, a microphone, your joysticks, your controllers that you play on your PlayStations or Xbox at home, or your switches. These are all devices that we put inputs in. So we press a button and it goes into the computer for the computer to process. So an input is a device that gives the computer information. Okay. That leads us to output. Output is then what we get out of the computer once we've put our input in. So for example, we've got monitors, headphones, a printer. So on, let's take the monitor, for example. I put in a button on the keyboard and say I put in the letter N, the computer then processes that and then it appears up on my screen. That is an output device. Algorithm. Now this is quite a hard word to say. So algorithm. Algorithm. Now this is basically, it's a set of rules that a computer follows before it gets to its output. So for example, the best way to describe it is in a flow diagram. So here we've got read the temperature. So we may put in a temperature into the computer. The computer then has to decide whether it is above a certain degree or below. In this case, is it a grade below 32 or is it higher? If it is below 32, then it will print out below freezing. If it's not, it will print out above freezing, and then it will send it to the output device, and we get our output. So an algorithm is a set of rules that the computer follows to work out problems. So when we give it an input, it uses algorithms, uses rules to then get to the output. Debug. This is a word you're going to hear quite often, because when you're making your games in Scratch, if you make a mistake with your programming, then debug is going to be a word that you're going to hear your teachers use, because debug basically means to fix the program. All right, so that's what debug means. It means to have a look at your work and fix it. It's a fancy name for editing, really, but we use it in computing terms, debug. Coding, this is the process of actually making the whole game or software that you're going to create. So in this case, you're making a game. So your game, the whole process of making that game, we call coding. Sequence, these are things that happen in order. Okay, so in this picture here, you can see I'm just adding one every single time. So that is our sequence. And then when you make your games, there will be some sort of sequencing that you need to do. Pattern. Pattern is a repeated thing that you see time and time and time again. So in the games that we see, if you get a question wrong, let's say in your game, you're always going to go to a try again screen, for example. So you'll start to see patterns and make patterns with your coding. And this picture just shows a pattern, a repeated pattern. And then the last one is variable. These are things that we can change without drastically making alterations to the game. So for example, a volume is a variable. We don't change the picture, we don't change how bright or big a picture gets when we change the volume. We're just changing how it sounds, how loud it is. In a game, if you're playing a game and you're finding it too hard, you can change the variable of difficulty to make it easy. So a variable is something that you can change within the game. Okay. They're all the key words that we're going to be using in computing for the next 6 weeks or so. Please make sure that you learn them, get used to them, because we will be using them a lot in class. All right, then, guys, take care. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.